That's true. And that's a cycle in history, is a collectivization and polarization in a winter season. Individualism fades and gives way to collectivism. What tribe am I of? What team am I on? What is my worldview and ideology? And I identify with that, and I don't critically self-analyze my own. I only attack the other. And this could, you mentioned, is there a peer? Is there a equivalency of the United States military power upon the world that could scenario World War III, actually compete? And what could happen is if the cycles indicate that we're looking at giant war. Remember the 1861 winter season in America, it was civil war.
Yeah.
And we look at all the indicators of a civil war, and we've got every one of them.
Yeah, there was I was watching a TED Talk with a lady she was a contractor for the CIA, and they were looking at all this data as the CIA and then as data analytics. They kind of combine two things together. And they were saying, well, here's, several factors, like 38, 58 factors that we're looking at for civil war. And they basically took all that and said, well, only 2 of them are really good indicators that a country is in civil war. But you know who they couldn't ask the question of? They couldn't ask the question of themselves because it's illegal. But her as a private citizen, she said, guess what? We have those 2 data points in this country.
Yeah. Well, if you think about what do we have in common as Americans anymore? Just think on the ideological spectrum, you're typically, viewed 2 sides. What do they have in common anymore? It used to be we all kind of had mutual tolerance, freedom of speech, some basic American values, or maybe you wouldn't like the word American because that sounds like you're in one of the teams.
Free to believe what you want. Now,
freedom.
Yeah, that's out the window.
Yeah. So there is no common ground. So that is immense polarization. I literally can't find a common set of values that the polarized sides still share. It's dangerous level polarization. And you mentioned you used the word demoralization, and you were talking about KGB. Are you guys familiar with Yuri Bezmenov and his comments back in the 80s and 90s about he had been a KGB defector, and he's like, much of the Russian propaganda effort actually was targeting the United States to try to demoralize.
Yeah,
and
not surprising.
Think about our universities and media. You guys specialize in that. What messaging is coming through to the upcoming generation? Are they being founded and grounded upon principles that help to have a unified and thriving, harmonious society, even a pluralistic society? It's not top-down, one-size-fits-all. There are many different expressions of one's free choices, and we know from the Bible there is one way to the Father, and that's through Jesus Christ alone. But never would we as Christians, or should any human being, seek to coerce, mandate, pressure, manipulate others into believing even what we know to be the truth. God doesn't even do that, right?
Right.
So these principles of freedom are just history, and it's you are canceled, you are marginalized. You if you don't toe the line, then you don't participate in the dialogue anymore.